Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Joel Cordero. Yesterday around 2 p.m., officials were called to a crash between a tractor-trailer and a train in Hazel Township. The trailer was carrying country crock butter traveling on North Park Drive in the Humboldt Industrial Park. The crash happened at the entrance to U.S. Cold Storage, where the train hit the tractor-trailer, in which it split open and overturned. As a result, it spilled tubs of butter all over the road, blocking both traffics on State Route 924 and North Park Drive. No injuries were reported on the scene. According to the Hazel Township Fire Chief, the truck trailer punctured a fuel tank on the train, which had 2,900 gallons of diesel fuel and started leaking near Stony Creek. Firefighters and people from U.S. Cold Storage worked together to help put down absorbent materials to soak up the diesel fuel from flowing into the creek. The crash is still under investigation. There was a car accident that happened in the evening of January 6, knocking down a telephone pole. The crash involved what appears to be a white Honda. The crash took place on Route 924 Center Street, just after the split intersection with Chapel Road across the wooded section from River Mountain Chapel. The fall of the telephone pole caused a power outage, and according to a resident of Cove Village, it reached their community. Due to the fallen telephone pole, the authorities blocked off the start of Center Street from the split intersection to the other intersection next to the American Legion on 949 Center Street, Shepton, forcing passerbys to go around the area using Chapel Road and Schoolhouse Road. It is unknown how many people were injured in the crash, if anyone was injured, or if there were any casualties. 4 juveniles were charged after they apparently assaulted someone over a video game argument. Police responded to Foster Street in Scranton, where they received a call about a possible abduction, but later determined the incident to be an assault. The victim, a 14-year-old male, told investigators that during an argument he had been playing the online game Fortnite when a player made threats to him. Later on, during a walk home, a vehicle quickly approached him as 4 males in black clothing and red bandanas attacked him. The boy sustained multiple injuries, including multiple cuts from an edged weapon. Police later located the vehicle with all 4 assailants present. The names have not been released. However, they were all 15-year-old males of Taylor, 2 from Old Forge, and another from Durea. Lackawanna County District Attorney's Office's Juvenile Division approved charges against the teens, with the charges including conspiracy to commit aggravated assault and conspiracy to commit simple assault with a deadly weapon. The teens have been released to their guardians. The Lackawanna County District Attorney and Pennsylvania State Police say investigators arrested 2 men after a meth sting operation. Authorities say they seized 4 ounces of methamphetamine during a controlled buy at the Hampton Inn on Monday in Moosic. Bernard Brightman and Carl Lambert were taken into custody, in which police say Brightman was also wanted in Schuylkill County. Both Brightman and Lambert are set in bail at $100,000. Coming up on WYLN News, with the passing of the new season, a new sweet season comes this way. Plus, a woman is charged after she allegedly assaulted someone with a candle jar. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, part of Jefferson Health. With LVHN Same Day, Next Day Cancer Care, you can get a video visit with a clinician within 48 hours following a cancer diagnosis. Learn more at lvhn.org/cancercare.
My name is Charlie. I am 8, and the forecast for tomorrow is partly cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, Go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30. Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
Hey everybody, this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, I'm Dr. John. Let's talk about the variety of what you need in a chiropractic office. MRIs, x-rays, CAT scans, referrals. We do it all here at this office.
When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@WYLNTV.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to WYLN News. The Pennsylvania State Police announced the enrollment period for the 2026 Troop and Camp Cadet program. The program is open to boys and girls that are between the ages of 12 to 15 and reside in the Troopin area. This includes Luzerne, Monroe, Carbon, and Columbia counties. The program will be held at Penn State Hazleton campus from June 21st to June 26th. The camp is designed to give young people a better understanding of law enforcement activities in an atmosphere in an actual state police training school. Anyone interested in attending the camp can obtain an application at Troopin State Police stations in Hazleton, Bloomsburg, Lehighton, Fern Ridge, and Stroudsburg. You can also get the application online at www.troopandcampcadet.com. A firefighter was injured while responding to an incident in West Pittston. On Tuesday night, firefighters were called to a residential fire at the 500 block of Luzerne Avenue in West Pittston. Fire departments from West Pittston, Avoca, Exeter, and Durea were called to the scene. According to the fire chief, 6 people were inside when the fire started, 2 adults and 3 children. Everyone made it out safely. The flames were contained on a second-floor bedroom and was put out quickly. There were minor damage on the upper level of the residence, including a possible water damage on the lower level. A firefighter from the Avoca Fire Department suffered a leg injury after falling from a second story while climbing a ladder. He was transported to a nearby hospital where his condition is unknown. As the holiday season passes, a new sweet season approaches, and maybe not the one you were expecting. This Tuesday marked the start of the new Girl Scout cookie season, and with the new season comes a new flavor. The new flavor is called Explore Mores, a cookie that features chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond cream. The Girl Scout in the heart of Pennsylvania say it reflects the spirit of exploration at the heart of Girl Scouting. If you're interested in purchasing the new Explore More flavor, or to resupply on your favorite flavor, you can text cookies to 59618 and be on the lookout for Girl Scout booths placed around our area. On Sunday night, a Butler Township woman is charged after allegedly striking a man with a candle jar. According to police, 61-year-old Valerie Williams Diop threw a candle jar at a 66-year-old man at a residence on Player Court Drive. She threw the jar twice, where the first time she hit him in the chest. Then later, she picked it up and struck him in the head. Police were called on Sunday night, where they arrested Diop. She was charged with simple assault and harassment. On Monday, she was sent to Luzerne County Prison after a preliminary arrangement in Luzerne County Central Court before District Judge Rick Kronar. Diop is set bail at $5,000. Coming up on Mahanoy City's News Choice, we check in with Lisa Marie on this week's Wellness Wednesday. Plus, WYLN historian Chris Fulmer takes us on the path through history with Selinsgrove Part 3. Stay with us in WYLN. We'll be right back.
It's cold out there. Call S.J. Kowalski for the best products and solutions to help lower your energy costs and keep your family safe and comfortable this winter. Our professional team has unparalleled experience with all the latest innovative types of heating systems. We're a Lennox premier dealer, installing high-quality equipment, providing the ultimate experience in comfort and climate control while being energy efficient. S.J. Kowalski, heating and cooling the way the earth intended.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming, it's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL and it changed my life. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL and see the difference it can make in your life.
Buy one, get two free. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3, a value of more than $85. Call today and you pay only $39.95. Plus, you have nothing to lose because it's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee. Call now.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Well, as you already know, winter is upon us, and here in northeastern Pennsylvania, we see all types. So with me is Dr. Kira Weaver, who is our medical director for our emergency department, and she's here to talk to us about the top 3 things they see in the emergency room during the winter months and how you can possibly help prevent these things from happening to you or someone you love. Dr. Kira Weaver, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So tell us, what are those 3 top things you see?
So over the winter months, we have increase in respiratory illness. So this is, everything from like the common cold all the way to influenza, COVID, and pneumonia. So that's one of the first things that we see. The other things that we see more commonly over the winter months is we'll see, particularly with like snowfall, snow shoveling, we'll see an increase in cardiac events because it's kind of like having a stress test because of the strenuous activity with moving snow. And then the third thing that we see in the emergency department during the winter, we see an increase in falls. Falls are a very common thing. Actually, it's one of the most common things that we see for geriatric trauma in our department outside of car accidents, but with increased, snowy conditions, ice, slippery pavement, this, we'll see an increase in that and an uptick, depending on how the winter goes, as well as, cold exposure, hypothermia from patients that may be on the ground outside after having a fall.
So let's go back to the respiratory. What should people be mindful of? What should they be thinking of if they're starting to see some symptoms?
All right, so, obviously if someone has symptoms, you want to, keep in mind if you do have like a mild cold that perhaps like, at-risk populations like the very young, like infants, as well as, the elderly, you may not want to expose yourselves to them because you may not get as sick, but they're going to get, potentially a lot more sick and could potentially end up in the hospital for those conditions. Seeing your primary care doctor early on may be also beneficial, before things get worse and you let it kind of sit and, kind of like, I guess, accumulate over time that you end up in the emergency department.
So let's go to the heart events. When someone has a heart attack or something, too much stress, you're saying about shoveling. What are the best things for them to think about if they have to go out and do this? Should they take breaks? Should they, monitor their heart rate?
So I think the best thing, if you have an underlying cardiac condition or, you're at risk for having a heart attack, I would talk to your doctor first, okay, your primary care doctor, to see if it's appropriate for you to do snow removal. If your primary doctor, doesn't have concern, it's probably okay, but you want to take breaks. You want to make sure you hydrate good, make sure that you're physically fit to do this. On the other hand, too, if you have underlying cardiac conditions, it may not be the best thing for you to do. So, probably hiring someone to remove your snow or having a family member do that for you may be the best thing.
So do you see those type of incidents with people who may not have any kind of cardiac history?
Yeah, so we do see that because sometimes patients maybe don't follow with a primary care doctor, regularly. They may not know they have underlying heart conditions. So if you are out shoveling and you're working, you start feeling short of breath or not right, you start sweating, having chest pain, you should stop.
That's great advice. So now on to the third. What can we do?
So the third thing that we should do during this season, so we're talking about the falls now, right? Yeah, the falls. So, obviously ice melt, being cautious, wearing appropriate footwear to be out in the snow, something with a good tread. Those are some things that, you can do to protect yourself. Maybe if you don't have to go out when it's icy or snow covered, wait till something's clear. That might also be one of the best things to do to prevent, fear falls.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your insight. As always, we really appreciate you. And, be mindful, understand what's going on. There's always those delivery services. So, not going out in the house when it's a snowstorm or it's icy if you forgot something, taking care of yourself and maybe getting those primary care visits once a year, wellness visits. So you do know if you have any underlying conditions that maybe you may not have had the year before. So, just taking care of yourself is important, but this winter especially, just take care of you, and thank you for watching Wellness Wednesday.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
Cooking rice just isn't nice. Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with Rice Robot, the 1, 2, 3 rice cooker. Watch, 1 add the white cup for rice, 2 add the blue cup for water, 3 click it and let Rice Robot perfectly cook it.
The secret is Perfect Cook technology that surrounds the rice with controlled heat for even cooking. Then Rice Robot senses when it's done, auto stops and keeps it warm to serve.
It won't burn, overcook or undercook, guaranteed.
And rice is just the beginning. Make mac and cheese, frittatas, oatmeals, soups and stews, even ramen dishes. And with a ceramic, ultra non-stick interior, cleanup's a breeze.
Get the complete Rice Robot cooking system with the steamer tray and 1-2-3 recipe guide, all for just $39.99. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. We'll even ship your entire order free. Order now.
1-800-640-8545.
Hello, I'm Wyln historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
My name is Charlie. I am 8, and the forecast for tomorrow is partly cloudy.
Trolleys became the rage across the nation at the turn of the century, and Selinsgrove would be no different, becoming the western terminus of the Sunbury and Selinsgrove trolley line December 1907. The Selinsgrove station was on Orange Street and included a candy and cigar store inside. The line ran across the Susquehanna to Cameron Park in Sunbury, with a stop along the way at Rolling Green Park. The line was never very profitable, and it would cease operations in 1934. In 1911, Selinsgrove residents were up in arms. The cause of the flap was a drinking fountain that had been installed square in the middle of the intersection of Market and Pine Streets in June 1910. The fountain had been set up by Judge Harold McClure of Pennsylvania's 17th Judicial District. McClure had secretly bought the Selinsgrove Waterworks at sheriff's sale back in 1901 and made improvements to the town's water system. A drinking fountain for both humans and horses seemed like a good idea to him. Selinsgrove, though, was heavily divided on the matter, particularly given that the 6-foot-wide fountain left only 17 feet of safe driving space on Market Street. At first, though, traffic nightmares did not materialize, and the fountain would become a gathering place for the community during the holidays, when the town Christmas tree would go up there and Santa would make appearances. By 1923, the horse and buggy area had largely come to an end, and the advent of larger highways around Selinsgrove reignited debate about the fountain. With this in mind, and considering increased traffic in the borough, Selinsgrove Council voted in December 1925 to replace the fountain with a traffic light. They made the replacement the following month. Over the next 12 years, the light would be crashed into by drivers with relative frequency, sometimes being obliterated in the crashes. Selinsgrove Council finally had enough by 1937, voting to remove the old fountain's base. Workers tore out the base from the roadway on July 16th of that year, replacing the traffic light with a standard overhead light. Moviegoers in Selinsgrove would get their own place to see the best of Hollywood when the Stanley Theater opened on August 30th, 1920, with the Gloria Swanson film Why Change Your Wife? Situated on North Market Street, it had seats for 500 patrons. The Stanley Theater showed movies through 1970 and was demolished on January 28, 1971. Country Squire Furniture now stands on its site. The 20th century moved onward in Selinsgrove, and with it came the advent of airplanes. The first to land in Selinsgrove, de Havilland 9, did so at an unscheduled stop in April 1920. It was one of 3 planes marking out a route for an international air race when a rainstorm forced it to land on the Isle of Kew. The local Boy Scouts guarded the plane overnight until it could take off the following morning. The Zimmerman Airport, which would later become today's Penn Valley Airport, would open 8 years later in roughly the same area that de Havilland landed. In communities large and small across America, crimes of passion can sometimes lead to dark outcomes. On December 10, 1923, Harvey Willow, who lived on a farm just outside Selinsgrove with his wife Annie and 2 children, Glenn and Eva, went hunting in the woods. By the next morning, he had still not returned, and a search party went out looking for him. A neighbor, Louis Gemberling, subsequently found Harvey's body in a section of woods on a neighboring farm, the entire back half of his head having been blown off. Numerous theories over who might have killed him abounded, from bootleggers reported to be operating in the area, to friends of George Spade, who had died after a brawl with Willow 9 years prior, exacting revenge on Harvey. Eventually, however, suspicion fell on Harvey's farmhand, 17-year-old Ralph Shadle, who frequently had gone hunting with him, and had begun acting suspiciously since his boss's body had been found. Local authorities secretly placed a dictaphone tap inside the Willow house. All the officers assigned to listen to the tap were originally found to be slacking off. The dictaphone still did its job in the end, revealing to the law that Ralph Shadle was having an affair with Annie Willow. Shadle was subsequently arrested and would confess to Harvey Willow's murder under interrogation, saying that Annie had asked him to get rid of her husband so the two of them could be together. And thus, on the day of the murder, Shadle had suggested to Harvey that the two of them go hunting together, then had shot him twice in the head when he got the chance. Annie was then arrested herself and told officers that Harvey had abused her and she had seduced Shadle to get back at her husband. Both she and Shadle would be tried separately. Ralph Shadle was convicted of second-degree murder on October 6, 1924, and was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in Philadelphia's Eastern State Penitentiary. Annie Willow's attorneys tried several legally questionable tactics in her subsequent trial, including forging letters in which Shadle supposedly admitted lying on the stand and trying to dispose of her indictment, but that could not save her from being convicted herself of second-degree murder as well. She was also sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison, which was served at the Allegheny County Courthouse near Pittsburgh. Although she and Shadle wrote to each other in prison, promising they would get together after their release, each ultimately went their own ways and married other partners once freed. Harvey Willow rests today in Kratzerville's Zion Reformed Cemetery, his justice having been done. With the advent of the Great Depression, federal arts projects came into vogue. Selinsgrove's post office would be the beneficiary of this in 1939 through the Treasury Department's selection of fine arts projects. Artist George Rickey of Olivet, Michigan came to Selinsgrove and painted a mural showing farm life in the area during spring planting season. Susquehanna Valley, as his work would become known as, featured two farmers hard at work in the field, with their families and several buildings familiar to locals in the background. The painting was installed in the post office in January 1939 and remains there today, a testament to fine art.
My name is Charlie. I am 8, and the forecast for tomorrow is partly cloudy.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.